live back now to Cape Town. Athi Mtongana is there. She's at the University of Cape Town. One of the buildings reportedly on fire this afternoon after this massive fire swept through the Rhodes Memorial area. Athi, good afternoon to you again. What are you able to see there?
Very good afternoon to you once again, Stephen. Incredible visuals coming out of Cape Town this afternoon. We can now actually spot a building at the University of Cape Town that is literally up in flames. We've been seeing choppers that have been deployed by the City of Cape Town's fire services, water bombing it. You can see the black smoke, which obviously is an indication that a lot is burning inside that building. Now, without wasting any time, I'm going to move out of shot so my colleague can actually show you this building that's literally right now up in flames. That's a building at UCT, Stephen. I'm sure if my colleague can zoom in, you would see the flames literally coming out of that building. It's incredible because a few hours earlier on we saw UCT students getting evacuated. That was a precautionary measure ahead of something that would happen, which is exactly what we're seeing now. I'm sure you can see that chopper water bombing sections of the University of Cape Town. We're actually at this stage are yet to confirm from the university itself which building that is, but rest assured it is definitely a building inside the property of the University of Cape Town. State vehicles are going in. Well, we can see the law enforcement officers, the South African police, firefighters are all driving into UCT right now, all gunning for that building that you can see that's up in flames. At the stage, well, there are no reports of any injuries. The City of Cape Town is monitoring that, and a few firefighters actually have been injured from this morning, but other than that they have not reported any major injuries. Remember that there are students who had to evacuate from UCT. They had to actually leave some of the residences close to Rhodes Memorial. So that building right there is certainly one that they're going to keep an eye on. Look at that chopper, Stephen. It's about to literally drop some water on top of the building. There we go. It's water bombing that building, and I'm sure they're going to try to get it under control. It's been making several rounds, picking up water, dropping it off on top of that building as we can see it going up in flames. Now, I've been talking to a lot of firefighters on the ground who've just been relaying how they're feeling. Now, I want to bring in some locals to perhaps get a sense of how Cape Townians are feeling, because anywhere around here, Stephen, you would not walk around without of course, inhaling the smoke that is all over this Rondebosch southern suburb area. Won't you come closer so I can talk to you? So how are you doing this afternoon? I just want to get a sense of how Cape Townians are feeling, seeing that the entire area is thick with smoke, of course, as a result of this fire.
Yeah, so we're just mainly concerned about the university. I don't think I've ever seen a fire like this near the university or in it. Our houses are obviously packed with smoke. It's hard to breathe just within the local area. It's tough to breathe. There's ash everywhere, and yeah, I think I speak on behalf of most Cape Townians. We're just super worried about people's homes, the safety of our firefighters, the pilots. I mean, these conditions are really hard to fly in, and it's really windy. So I'm concerned about the university and just everyone involved.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time. So this is basically what most Cape Townians are really feeling, Stephen. They are very worried. At this point, we thought maybe the wind would have subsided, but it's certainly picking up. As he said, it's very, very windy, and it is going to get dark, and it's going to pose some difficulty for the aerial support to continue. But for now, they are definitely continuing to try and water bomb some of the hotspot areas, and certainly the building behind me, the UCT building. I just want to move out of shot so you can see, Stephen, for yourself how this building is literally up in flames, and you can see the black thick smoke that indicates that that building certainly is getting damaged by the minute. The City of Cape Town has deployed several personnel on the ground to try and assist. We have also seen working on fire as well as other firefighting services. There, that helicopter comes back again to try and water bomb, dropping the water on top of that building as they try to ensure that they save some of it because as you can see, it is getting gutted by the minute. We are going to be on the ground, Stephen, to continue monitoring the situation together with the firefighters that are tirelessly trying to put out the several flare-ups in and around Rondebosch. Of course, you might know by now that a restaurant up Rhodes Memorial was affected. It burned down. People had to be evacuated. And so that is going to be the situation until they literally get hold and get a control of this fire. But it's going to be very difficult because of the strong winds.
Athi, it's incredible footage that you're showing us here, incredible images and incredible drama that's playing out there. The helicopter actually dropping water literally live on camera on that building. It seems to be a massive fire. Do we know at this stage how it started? And I know sometimes it's very difficult to know how these fires in that Cape Town area, on the mountain, in that area around Rhodes Memorial actually begin. I mean, this fire is bigger than the ones that you will be used to covering from what I can see.
I'm going to continue talking to you, Stephen, but I'm just going to move out of shot because I think it's incredible that we bring you these visuals, although now it's becoming very difficult to see anything because the air is full of smoke. It's literally thick. You can barely see anything. But well, what I can tell you with regards to how this fire started, they are definitely still trying to investigate that. They have not come out to actually tell us how this fire started. It's interesting. Earlier on this morning, we drove past the N2 highway and we saw a patch of fire. And we thought, okay, the firefighters would get it under control. That was in the early hours of this morning at around 9 a.m. When we drove back in the afternoon, I can tell you the fire had spread across that particular area, which is close to Wolmer Estate, as well as Devil's Peak Mountain, and of course the Rhodes Memorial area and the UCT area. I mean, there were fears that the fire would eventually get onto the property of UCT. The fire was right behind it on the vegetation side, but then eventually, as you can see now, one of the buildings getting affected by this fire, and certainly it's going to be difficult for firefighters to continue to try and put out this fire because the wind is so strong, and at this stage they have not yet determined what started this fire.
Athi Mtongana, it's just incredible what we're seeing there. Obviously having a big impact on people. I'd imagine that smoke is all the way through the area. I mean, literally anyone, you know, who's in the Cape Town area and all the way through, possibly a significant section of the Western Cape is smelling that smoke. This really is massive. All right, Athi Mtongana, we're going to leave it there for the moment. Thank you very much indeed. My apologies for that live coverage there. I mean, incredible pictures. I can't remember seeing for quite some time live pictures of a helicopter actually dropping water on a building. But that's the situation there at UCT. In fact, we're able to go back there now. Athi, this fire does certainly seems to be bigger than the fires that you're used to reporting on in that area. Certainly bigger, it seems, than the fires that we normally have in that part of Cape Town.
Well, we can't say that for certain at this stage. Remember, Stephen, that the fire is spreading across the Rhodes Memorial area, the UCT area, the Rondebosch area, to a point where you see where I'm standing right now. Those are the slopes of Rhodes Memorial. Behind and in front is UCT. So what the wind has contributed to is the fire literally jumping from that end to the other end. Right behind us is the presidential property that I crossed to you from earlier on, where firefighters are currently battling this fire line that is close to the president's property. Although there are no confirmed reports from the presidency of the actual property itself being damaged, but firefighters are certainly preventing that from happening. They're guarding this fire line belt right here close to the president's property. They are stationed there. They had to put down a fence somewhere along that fire truck so that they can gain access into the many trees that are here where that have been catching the flare-ups from the other side of the mountain. So it's going to be very difficult for firefighters at this stage, at least the city of Cape Town, to establish the extent of damage, but it is certainly widespread in that there's a lot of vegetation that burnt out. It's not as big as Knysna, I can imagine at this point. I think one of the biggest fires we've had in the Western Cape is the Knysna fire, but I think for this one it's very early to actually ascertain what the extent of damage is, or how big this fire has been. But what's troubling here, Stephen, is the wind, because it keeps on picking up and it flares up the few blazes and the hotspot areas that the firefighters are giving a close eye and monitoring, both on the ground and up in the bird's eye view.
Athi Mtongana, thank you very much indeed for that live coverage. Well, she and the team will stay there for you to bring you the latest on that fire and what's happening at UCT and in that area of Cape Town.